Hey there, and welcome back to the road to ProveIt 2026. In the last few weeks, we've progressed really quickly through our build, but today we're at a pivotal point. Today we need to handle some of the physical devices for our level 1 and level 2 demonstration. Hey there, I'm Christopher Sandoval. I'm a developer relations advocate here at FlowFuse. And if you love physical hardware, today's your lucky day. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So since our last video, we've made some pretty significant changes to the Workbench. As you can see, I've removed some devices because they've already been configured and validated for our use case. So there's no real point in having them take up space in our Workbench as we move forward. So with the inclusion of some DIN rails, some buttons, and our all-important groove Rios, we're now ready to start on the level 1 and 2 physical build. Now, a word of warning just before we jump into this process, today we're going to be dealing with some electrical connections. And while the voltage and amperage of these connections are pretty low and thus reasonably safe, the reality is that they're still electrical connections and we should implement some best practices to keep everybody safe. First of all, I've moved all of our high energy devices, the ones that are directly connecting to our DC current, over to a plank of wood. This plank of wood is then further insulated with some rubber spacers, which gives us an extra layer of security, safety, and peace of mind. And finally, we're not going to be working with any live connections, but importantly, we're going to treat every connection as if it's live. By treating everything as live, even when everything is turned off, we can be safe and we can be aware of our environment and our situation. Now, when I sat down with my team to start doing the wiring schematics for this part of the build, we actually decided to make our connections non-permanent. The idea here is to allow the system to expand over time and be shipped to different locations for different demonstrations. To facilitate that, we decided to use these 5-pin connectors. Now we'll get into how those are wired shortly, but this will allow us to carry both power and data throughout our system and disconnect those connections when we're ready to move the system to another location. With that in place, let's move to the first foundational step of our build. Now the first stage of our build process is pretty critical. We need to build a terminal block in order to distribute our DC power both to the Rios as well as to the stack light. We're using a modular terminal block solution here, which will give us expandability for the future. We've cut down our press-fit jumpers to create a single power rail which feeds from our DC power supply. And with this in place, we'll connect our Rios to the power supply, connect the Rio to the network, and then configure the Rio to handle all of our I/O and our connections. Although we wired everything to those 5-pin connectors, they're actually largely going to terminate at the Rio's I/O, with the exception of the power circuit for the stack lights, which will actually connect to our terminal block. With this in place, we need to bring everything into FlowFuse so we can start using those buttons to trigger flows. We'll start by looking at our mixer flow. Here you can see that our green button is a trigger for a mixer flow, and our red button is stopping that flow. The E-stop is wired to kill the entire system, which will trigger an alert internally that we can track over time. These states will all map directly to the stack lights, allowing us to get an at-a-glance view of what is happening in the center. The second machine center is going to be exactly the same in terms of wiring and configuration, with the notable exception that it will handle packing, not mixing. Now this is actually a pretty complex flow, so I'll just give you a brief overview. The idea here is that you can have a configuration of recipes that can be selected depending on the payload that is sent from the MES. A material will be drawn from the tanks in order to create that product. This product is then held in an intermediary container. When we build the next machine center, which is all about packing, it's going to draw from this intermediary storage area and allow us to pack items for fulfillment downstream. And with that, we've made a huge leap forward. By my estimates, we're at 90% of our development roadmap. All we have to do now is build our second machine center as well as finalize our MCP tool and resource definitions. So we're coming up on ProveIt really quick. I am really excited for you to experience this demo live in person at ProveIt, but I also want to let you know that we're doing much more at ProveIt than just this demonstration. In addition to our booth, we'll be hosting a session on stage with ZJ, our CEO, as well as a workshop where you can come and learn MCP and AI connectivity in person. Check out the description below and register to come work with us at ProveIt Live. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a like, comment, or subscribe. If you'd like to learn more about FlowFuse, then head on over to flowfuse.com or click the link in the description below to speak to one of our team. This has been Christopher Sandoval. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.